you ready? Good evening, Britain. I'm Jordan Rees, and today's headlines are immigration, 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 privatisation. Cameron has promised to cut immigration to ensure net migration is below 100,000 migrants a year. Jose Manuel Barroso, the European Commission President, has made it clear that Cameron's plans to place quotas on EU citizens allowed to come to the UK, in principle, goes against EU rules, as it limits people's rights to the freedom of movement. Barroso stated that these kinds of plans are not good. Downing Street has regretted the criticism. Grant Shapps, a Tory chairman, has stated that he is out of touch with the mainstream opinion. The Express has expressed, what about a referendum on whether Jose Manuel Barroso should shut up? Brian from Gateshead has stated the only way is to leave ASAP. Dodger 58 claims vote UKIP. In addition, Barroso also drew attention to the fact that 700,000 British citizens are currently living in Spain. In other news, has Miliband had a purge health scare? The NHS has become the fighting ground for the two main political parties. Labour has promised to keep the NHS safe from privatisation, and their most recent announcement last week stated that they promised to cut time receiving cancer results for a week. The mounting pressure Labour has placed on camera over the NHS can be seen today. In the Daily Mail, who has slandered Ed for stating that the NHS is not safe in its grubby little hands, criticising Labour's management of the Welsh NHS for 15 years. Waiting times have risen and patient care has declined. The writer of the article uses an anecdote of a cancer patient, takes a swift blow to Labour's most recent announcement. This is a classic case of her word against his, but one clear message coming from the Daily Mail is don't fake Labour. Now for our special feature, we go to Olivia, who today is in Reading. Thanks, Jordan. After David Cameron's keynote speech win a few weeks ago and the growing trend towards right-wing extremism plaguing Europe, is Britain steering towards the right-hand lane and taking the next junction into a Thatcher-themed bouncy castle in Farage's back garden? That's why Infocop has come to the Answers, a place traditionally known for left-wing political ideas to flourish. We have come here today, an art school in Reading, to ask the students the future of the art world at the fundamental questions.
I don't think they should provide more than what's necessary. I think they should provide enough so that everyone who's in need has what they need. But I don't think they need to provide any more.
I do believe that people, if taxes have to be a thing, that people that earn more should have to pay more in society. But then I'm also people like entrepreneurs who earn their money and build it up themselves are different to people that get money given to them.
Yes, I think Britain should keep to their tradition and their values rather than become more progressive, because we need to keep intact our history and culture, and that's what we live for.
Pro-Europe. I like Europe. I feel a sense of community with the Europeans.
I'm pro-Europe because I think Europe as a whole needs each other, not just for trading but for everything. And I think the UK think they can stand alone, but realistically they probably couldn't.
I believe in high tax for the richer people in society, because if we don't tax them higher, we're going to broaden the gap between the rich and the poor.
I don't know, because part of me thinks everyone should pay the same amount and it should be fair and equal for everyone. But then another part of me thinks if people are earning more money, maybe they should give a little bit more.
Some interesting opinions, sir. A healthy, hearty debate over the next year is yet to come. Back to you in the studio, Jordan. And that has been the news. Good evening, Britain. Good evening, Britain. I am Olivia Trustfund, and these are your headlines on the 22nd of October, Tuesday. Yesterday, under the ring binder and a whole lot of attitude, Brian Harvey, former member of 90s band E17, stormed Downing Street demanding to see Cameron. Cameron has responded by saying, "Won't you stay another day?" A relatively interesting story. It may be worth looking at the ring binder. Moron, must be getting worried. Hundreds of British people are thinking the same thing. Go back to E19 where you belong, Tool. He needs to check his hearing. Don't you mean right-wing bounder? Not sure if I want to live in a society where Brian Harvey doesn't have immediate access to the Prime Minister. Long live Spud. Hurricane Gonzalo hits Britain. Hundreds of UK flights cancelled. This weather is getting me down already. I don't usually have a cold in October. I normally have one in December. Well, it is October. Up here in Scotland, it's cold weather. We're used to it. Lol. It woke me up. It doesn't usually do that. Lol. I'm looking forward to seeing some good coastal photography shots. It's autumn. It's windy. It's always windy in autumn. Get over it. Obviously Thatcher's fault. It wouldn't happen under Labour. Blowing gale in Morecambe. Dug out my hat and mittens already, lol. Paralysed man walks again. Let's hope this results in many thousands of people being able to walk again. Great to see some good news. This will bring hope to millions. Jesus died so this man would remain paralysed. I am fed up with bad news every day. This gives me hope for humanity again. And if the technique was developed in England, why is it being used in Poland on a Bulgarian man? It's all very confusing. That's so awesome! British, how could you omit Polish input into your headline? God created man with all these great characteristics, which we are barely now beginning to discover. Science wins again. This has been the news. Good evening, Britain. Good evening, Britain. I am Olivia Trustfund, and these are your headlines on the 22nd of October, Wednesday. Pregnant woman goes to work and wears a dress. Conservative supporting newspaper condemns leader of the opposition, third day in a row. Concern over supplying dementia for cash deal. Welsh man tries to escape problem by sleeping for 2 years. Woman who bought new face, so newspapers will say she looks young. Newspapers now mock her. Large bookshop capitalizes on keeping tourist prisoners. Woman gets out of car and manages to wear dress at the same time. Fear gets the better of town. White men minicabs offered in Rochdale. UKIP supporting newspaper states how much foreign criminals are costing Britain every year and asks why we are not deporting them. Labour doesn't realise how many British paedophiles are sent to Cambodia and Vietnam every year. Man supports ISIS and Man U. Woman who is poor is exploited on TV, then is blamed by MPs for glamorising poverty. This has been the news. Have a pleasant evening, Britain. Good evening, Britain. I am Jordan Rees, and here are your headlines on the 23rd of October, Thursday. NHS is short on cash. £8 million needed.
NHS, I'm voting UKIP.
Harry Roberts, a convicted murderer, is to be released.
Murderer, I'm voting UKIP.
Cash incentives for those who need to lose weight.
Obesity, I'm voting UKIP.
Announcing higher profits than expected, Tesco chairman is to hand in his resignation.
Tesco, I'm voting UKIP.
Proposal in the back of police car. Woman says yes.
Jesus, I'm voting UKIP.
The giant armed dinosaur mystery solved.
Bloody dinosaurs, this is why I'm voting UKIP.
Woman finds alien in malt vinegar bottle, claiming it has a head. However, in photo, malt vinegar bottle half used.
Fucking aliens, this is why I'm voting UKIP.
The heavy reporting on and presenting UKIP in a satirical way only makes them seem more anti-establishment, making them attract voters. Making their voters feel stupid only marginalises those that already feel marginalised.
This is why I'm voting UKIP.
Breaking news just in. Britain's identity has been abducted. We will now pass to Olivia, who's in Reading. How's the search going, Olivia? Thanks, Jordan. The search here in Reading is going strong. A police task force has been set up and the public are out on the streets mucking in. It's a real amazing scene. Public and police working together to create a real sense of community, or to find identity. We caught up with Reading residents earlier today to find out what British identity means to them.
Being British, first thing that comes to my head is roast dinners.
What being British means to me is history, tradition, community, countryside, cups of tea, and being close enough to everywhere to go on nice holidays, but also being your own island.
Complaining a lot and queuing for everything.
Being British means to me history, patriarchy. I'm really proud to be British. I'm proud of our monarchy. I'm proud of all of our past. And yeah, I love the Queen.
As a Welsh person, I only find myself referring to the term British when I actually have to write it on a form, which means I get some kind of entitlement for being a British person. So when I apply for a job and I have to write down where I'm from, what nationality I am, it's always British or white British. I don't really use the term to describe myself.
Well, the search is set to go until May next year. Let's hope they find it before it's too late. Back to you in the studio, Jordan. There was the news. Good evening, Britain. Good evening, Britain. Here is your news and weather for the 24th of October, Friday. Strong gales coming in from Europe as Britain told to pay 1.7 billion to the EU. Let's brace ourselves for some strong opposition from here in Kent. You can't sit with us. In York, Labour ousted from council as opposition parties joined forces to remove them. In Manchester, however, it seems to be raining as Mario Batelli is in trouble over police intervention with mother's neighbour. That rain has continued down into Birmingham, where Britain's dumbest criminal threw a brick at Bookie's window, only for it to bounce back. Banks flowing in Bristol, as Cribbs Causeway Mall is to double in size over a multi-million-pound deal. Now for the regional / London-centric weather. Sun shining in Woolwich, as Britain's first McDonald's is set for a digital makeover. Also bright in Greenwich, petrol station is set alight by arsonist. Heavy fog as London on high alert after Canada shootings. Darkness continues underground as woman's scarf gets stuck on tube. Clear skies forming into mist as £3 million house in South Ken is set ablaze by teenager firework. And hails in London as London's smallest house sold for $275,000. Good evening, Britain. There was your news.